Welcome to the first episode of the Human AI Experience. This is a brand new podcast to talk about AI and the future of AI in the workplace. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about ourselves, why we decided to do this, and who we want to connect with. I'm Daniel, a product design lead with 20 years of experience in advertising, marketing, and design. I believe AI is the next technological revolution, and it will change our lives and world dramatically. And this is my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Matheus. I'm an architect and urban designer with 14 years of experience within the construction industry as a project coordinator. I believe AI will change the early stages of projects, so it will enhance the creativity process from the initial thoughts. So Daniel, welcome to our podcast. And our main topics today is why are we doing this? Why we are starting this so great project with talking about AI and what we envision for the next episodes?
Yeah, exactly. And you and I have been talking about this for ages, right? Like about AI and then trying to keep up with all this insane amount of tools that are created every day that serve different purposes. And so basically, everybody's trying to surf this wave or develop new tools and trying to explore AI technologies or large language models or LLMs. And so we were already talking about this, so it just felt natural to try to start this project or this podcast and then put it out there. And since one of our goals is to try to experiment, try to use some of these tools and see which ones work, which ones don't, it makes sense, I guess, to share that with the community and try to create a community around this and try to demystify the use of AI, because I think there's a lot of prejudice around using AI nowadays, maybe because of fear of not understanding the tools.
Yeah, and I feel that it's so we are always trying to use this tool in our work, and it's always hard to understand which tool is the best one to use it, which one is working for our processes, in the creative process or even in normal, to write an email, for example, when you want to just answer some email, and then you can just talk to ChatGPT maybe, or you can write yourself and try to. So why not moderate this with AI and stuff like that? So I think to organize these tools and to test new tools, I think that's our main goal with this project, to test different AI tools and try to use in our daily basis processes.
Exactly. So how we question ourselves about this, right? So how do we use these tools? There's so many of them. So you have to go through all of them, try to select the best ones or the ones that are actually useful, because there's a bunch of them that are like total crap. You just can't use. And in our next episode, just a teaser, we're going to talk about how did we create this podcast using AI in different levels. But I don't want to spoil that much. We're going to talk about that next time. But so how do we use it? So we wanted to use some of them, test it out, so you don't have to test it. So you can just take maybe our word for granted, or maybe at least have an idea which ones you shouldn't use or which ones you should use, and how can you use them. And I think you just gave a good example of
ChatGPT.
how to use ChatGPT on emails, right? It could be a really good use. It could be a really good tool for you for help you write emails or summarizing emails and so on.
Yeah, so one of the problems that I realized, there are people that are not using AI because they're a bit afraid of using it, and they don't know what can be done with the AI. So I think it's important for us to test and to show to people how can you do that? How can you do not be afraid of using it. because it's so overwhelming when you see like so many different apps doing the same thing or doing like animating images, for example. What is the use that you can use for that, or what is your like, how can you use that in your daily basis? So people are a bit afraid of the tools because there's so many, and at the same time they don't know where to start. So I think that's the curator process that we are planning to do here, to test and to say to people, okay, this is the best tool, so you don't need to test the other tools. So you can just start with the ones that we will say to you if you trust in us, of course, to do this job.
Yeah, I mean, people are afraid like of new technologies, right? Like, or they are not afraid of the technology itself, but not knowing where to start. Sometimes it's just overwhelming because there's so many tools out there, and they require you a little bit of knowledge on how they work. Not necessarily like ChatGPT, because that's a conversational model, so you can basically talk to it, almost look like you're talking to somebody. But
Yeah,
some others like Midjourney, for example, it requires you to know a little bit or be a little bit more specific in what you want to say. And there are some coded uh, prompts that you know that if you know them and you add them to your prompt, then you will give you a specific different result. So and you gotta know that, at least while those tools are not good enough to interpret what you were trying to say with your own descriptive words. But at least at the moment, you still need to know a little bit about prompting, which we're probably going to cover in future episodes.
definitely. It's so important, like, to know how to ask the AI nowadays. Like, it's like, as you mentioned, like some of them need to be so specific. For example, Midjourney, you need to maybe think about the camera or the lights that you need to put it in. So then the results can change so much from one idea to another. So these tests, they can be a struggle if you don't know how to use it, or if you just try like random stuff. And other AIs, they are not that smart as Midjourney, for example. So you need to be more specific or be more broad on your questions and your. So that's a really nice tool. I think it is a really nice way of starting testing these different AIs.
So that's why we actually call the podcast the human AI experience, because we want to experiment with this and involve you, the audience, with our experiment. So we're going to do this together. We want to encourage you as well to send us questions if you have questions about any kind of AI tool, if you want to test, or if you want to know if those AI tools work for your use cases. Please send it to us, because we want to learn and we want to do this together. It's overwhelming, but we can do it. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, well, one of the things that people are afraid is losing their jobs, for example. And I think that's something that will not happen. Like if you know how to use AI, actually, instead of fighting against the new technology that is coming, why not work with it to do your job better? So that's our role here. And of course, we are both from creative backgrounds. So I think our use in our experience will aggregate in our this whole experience that we are planning to show here and to broadcast to people. So the main goal is to use these tools in a creative way and make it our work easier, because we both work with like brainstorming and this different kind of ideas, like creative ideas, or something that we connect different points and create a different innovative approach. So the goal here is to make it work, to make these tools usable and for professionals like us.
Yeah, I mean, people also feared losing their jobs to computers when they came out, and to machines in the Industrial Revolution. So it did happen partially, right? But at the same time, you had somebody that needs to operate the machines. There it might be less people, but there's always going to be somebody actually operate. Like the AI doesn't work by itself. It still needs somebody prompting or somebody giving a direction, right?
Yeah.
At least at the moment. So any closing thoughts, since we're like approaching the end of our session? At least this is our first experiment. It's also the first time we're doing this, right? I've never recorded a podcast before. The only thing I've done it was I mediated a session at Clubhouse, but that was a long time ago, and that thing was a thing.
Yeah.
Apart from that, like this is the first time I'm actually recording a podcast, and I guess it's the same for you, right?
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like I have participated in some podcasts like a long time ago, but not ruling and being the guy who hosts the podcast. So for me, it's a new experience. Sure, like, and yeah, for the final thoughts, I think we should think that AI will help us. So that's why we're here to test and to see how it can be possible for us to use this help and to make our work more productive.
If you're interested in how AI is evolving, if you want to know how to use it in your life, in your workday, subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast service and follow us for more. Let's explore this world, this revolution together. If you got some questions, like I said it before, reach out to us at hello@humanaixp.com or connect with us on Instagram at humanaixp. Thanks for listening and see you next week.
Bye bye, guys. See you next week.